Ben invites me somewhere, it's somewhere I've never been and somewhere I have a great time. So you guys look awesome. Thank you. Just so I know the lay of the land, this is wonderful for me. Usually I get to ask the following question, and there's maybe one or two hands that go up. How many of us are gamers? Woohoo! Okay. Some question. How many people are here from Blizzard? All right, we can say it to move on now. No, okay, so but how many people play WoW? Okay, that's still orders of magnitude above my normal response on this one. I'm very psyched. Normally, I give talks like this to epidemiologists and people from public health and the federal government and the Department of Homeland Security. None of them admit to playing WoW, even if they do. So, how many, this is going to narrow it down a lot. How many people were playing WoW in 2005? Oh. Okay, what are you guys doing here? You lived this. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you today predominantly about the corrupted blood plague of 2005 in World of Warcraft and how we're using it. And then starting to tell you, I'm going to take serious games in a whole different way. Usually when the folks who start talking about serious games mean research into serious games, what they mean is, how do we make the user experience of the game such that there's a benefit to the user and in the context of games for health, to their personal well-being. And now I'm going to step back from that and say, actually, I want the beneficiaries of the research that I do to be everybody, not just the users of the game. I'm going to use the game in order to gain insight into how I think public health practice should happen. And I'm going to do it from the perspective of epidemiology, which is the study of disease epidemics. And from my perspective, usually it's infectious disease, but at the end of the talk, I'll sort of tell you about some stuff I'm doing with non-infectious disease because of something surprising that came out of some ongoing work in a virtual world. So I'm affiliated with way too many places, but I'm a professor in medical school, I'm a professor in the Department of Evolution and Ecology, I'm a professor of applied mathematics, and all of them let me have students with me who play games, which is fantastic. Okay, so I wanted to make another disclaimer, which is that I've shamelessly stolen lots of images from Blizzard's website, and they're all beautiful, and I own none of them, and I hope they don't mind. But yes, all of the pictures of WoW come just from screen capture or from their website. Okay, so in case you guys don't know, how many of you know what an infectious epidemiologist does? That's pretty good, actually. You guys rock in general. First of all, actually, in the first session, I don't know how many of you were also in the first session, it sounded like the other room was having a lot more fun, even though the talking here was awesome and clearly better. I don't know what was going on in the other room. But, so I would encourage kind of yelling or screaming or throwing things if it stops being fun, because we clearly need to have more fun with the people in the next room. Yes! Okay, so what does an infectious disease epidemiologist do? Well, we analyze disease risks to a population. We work on figuring out what the origin of a particular outbreak was. We worry about public health strategies that can prevent outbreaks and make populations more robust to threats from the outside and from within. And we investigate intervention strategies to end already ongoing outbreaks. And we decide things like, when do we make public health emergency announcements? And what information do we give to the media? And how do we communicate with the public about health risks? And each of these things have different levels of feeling of emergency and behaviors that go with them, especially when you think in your mind, just within the realm of infectious disease, of the differences between communicating with people about the HIV epidemic and swine flu. Right? Those are very different timescales with that. They're very different levels of concern, and you expect very different behavioral responses depending on whether or not we as epidemiologists screw up. So we try very hard not to screw up, but we also worry about, well, if we screw up, how bad can it get? Okay, so I'm a mathematical infectious disease epidemiologist. I live in a smaller world than just all the things I told you about what infectious disease epidemiologists do. I use math to try and answer all of those questions. And so I try and predict if outbreaks happen, where will they go, what will they look like, what will the relative outcomes be, how bad will it get? And there are a few different types of models, so I'm going to quickly try and describe to you all of epidemiological mathematical modeling in about 1.5 minutes. We have basic models. They are called the compartmental models, where we bin people into health compartments. You are healthy, but you could get infected. you are infected, that you can infect others.